Today's program is brought to you by OTCStockShark.com. For the latest and greatest OTC and Pink Sheets information, sign up for your account at OTCStockShark.com. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.
In today's financial news, the stock market tumbled on pace for the first correction of the bull market that began in March 2009. Industrial and material stocks led the decline, and crude oil futures plummeted as worries mounted that Europe's debt woes and a possible slowing of growth in China will affect global demand. Assets ranging from the Australian dollar to metal futures sank as investors shed riskier holdings in favor of safer bets such as U.S. Treasuries. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 260 points, or 2.5%. The S&P index fell 32 points, or 2.9%. Earlier selling intensified after the measures broke below their 200-day moving averages. The S&P slide through 1100 was a key psychological move that fueled more selling. The pressure was also on pace to post a correction of 10% from its 2010 high last month, along with the NASDAQ Composite, which was recently down 77 points, or 3.3%. If the S&P remains below 1,000 through the close, the NASDAQ is still below 2278. The measure will be down more than 10% from the 50-week closing highs reached in late April. Sectors with the greatest global exposure posted the biggest drops, led by the materials and industrial sectors as investors worried that international demand might decline.
In U.S. news, the president of a Nevada company that manages business travel for major corporations admitted she booked bogus trips to net herself $17 million. That money, prosecutors say, she spent on such far-flung expenses as a Florida apartment and a stake in a California sandwich shop chain. Tri-Penn Management's president Victoria Wofford pleaded guilty in a Manhattan court to grand larceny. She briefly answered a judge's questions as she acknowledged she got American Express to pay for her sham travel she booked for a client for more than 3 years. In Wofford's capacity as a corporate travel agent, she charged the phony trips to dormant American Express accounts in the client's name, then pocketed the money when the credit card giant paid her as the travel vendor. To keep the scheme going, Wofford posed as one of her client's employees to authorize and answer questions about the expenses. Most of the proceeds went to developing some travel software, but Wofford also gave her husband $2.4 million to invest in a California sandwich chain and bought a $475,000 apartment in St. Petersburg, Florida. There was no indication her husband knew about the travel scam. Wofford ultimately ran up $35 million in bills and carriers fees, a fraud that went unexplored for years because it was a fraction of the client's total travel bills. The company positions itself as a money saver, saying on its website that the average client shaves 15 to 30% from its travel spending. Wofford faces at least a year and as many as 25 years in prison. She's being allowed to work on repaying the money before her sentence is decided.
In today's international news, enraged mobs of anti-government protesters set fire to swaths of Bangkok's priciest real estate, sending thick columns of smoke into hazy air and stoking fears that Thailand's chronic political divides could degenerate into an even deeper conflict. Demonstrators and local street thugs started the fires after an early morning army assault on the so-called red shirt protesters' main camp and forced the group's top leaders to surrender to police to prevent massive bloodshed. Mobs of roving protesters signaled out economic targets for special attention, setting Thailand's stock exchange headquarters ablaze and torching several banks and the headquarters of the city's electricity provider. Large parts of the Central World shopping mall overlooking the demonstrators' camp in Bangkok's main commercial corridor were gutted by flames, and witnesses said Asia's third largest shopping mall was close to collapse. Thailand's government declared a curfew from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. for the first time since pro-democracy protests in 1992, and hospital officials say 5 protesters and an Italian photojournalist were killed. The Associated Press reported witnesses as saying at least 6 other bodies were found in a Buddhist temple inside the protest area, which had been a sanctuary from all the violence.
In entertainment news, music buyers still have the fever for Peggy Lee, perhaps best known for her smooth, sultry 1958 cover of the rhythm and blues hit Fever. The late pop jazz singer, songwriter, and actress has returned to the Billboard Top 200 album chart and hit for the first time since 1970. A Starbucks compilation of Lee's hits and lesser-known tracks, Come Rain or Come Shine, sold 10,000 units the first week after its release on April 20th and landed at number 51 on the pop chart and at number 2 on the jazz album chart. Lee's granddaughter, Holly, is now the vice president of Peggy Lee Associates, which supervises her grandmother's estate. Lee also provided the inspiration for a recent tribute album, Canadian jazz piano vocalist Carol Weissman's I Like Men, Reflections of Miss Peggy Lee, which USA Today critic Alicia Gardner picked as one of the 5 best albums. Lee's granddaughter said a new collection of Lee catalog rarities are under construction and that she's hoping a big screen Lee biopic will soon come. Lee, who died in 2002 at the age of 81, would have turned 90 on May 26th.
Ever wish you had sonic hearing? Well, now you can with the amazing Silver Sonic XL from Bell & Howell. It's lightweight and small, just like a cell phone ear adapter. The flexible ear mount easily adjusts to fit all ear shapes and sizes, and the molded ear tip lets it fit you comfortably. Best of all, it looks like a cell phone ear adapter. The Silver Sonic XL amplifies sounds up to 50 decibels, so you can easily keep track of your kids at play. And it picks up sounds from more than 30 yards away, so no one will know you have sonic hearing.
Her body is amazing. I wish I could look like that.
The Bell & Howell Silver Sonic XL is yours for only $19.95. But wait, when you call, ask about our deluxe model upgrade that's fully rechargeable and comes with its own charger. Get Silver Sonic XL now and start hearing things you've never heard before. Call now.
To order your Silver Sonic XL, call 1-800-230-7100 or send $19.95 plus shipping to the address on your screen. But for quicker service, call 1-800-230-7100.
In today's tech news, if the web browser is the new operating system, where will we buy software for it to run and content for it to display? Google thinks it has found the answer with its Chrome Web Store, announced at its own Google In and Out conference in San Francisco. Just like you can buy web apps for your iPhone, Android, or other smartphone, you'll soon be able to purchase web apps for your browser. This not only gives app developers a new avenue for selling their software, but it will also allow content industries such as new publications, video producers, and musicians to sell web content, having notoriously struggled to make their content pay online in the absence of such a store. For instance, a record label will be able to sell an album that displays extra content within a web browser as music plays, and publishers creating a paid mobile app will be able to apply the same approach to the web, perhaps charging $5 a month for a premium access to their publications. And should they choose, they'll be able to offer these web apps for free. Confusion is quickly spreading about whether these apps will only be able to run in Google's Chrome web browser, despite the fact that Google clearly states near the top of their website that the Chrome Web Store will be available for any modern web browser to run.
In fashion news, the most talked about flip-flop on the beach, they just might be the new strapless, thongless, sticky sandals that attach to the sole of the foot with adhesive and can be re-glued and reused this summer. An AOL shopping website's writer, noting that the footwear can be washed with soap and water when they get soiled, says, "Hey, I'm not a fan of tan lines, but I can't take these topless sandals seriously, no matter how many times I look at them." The topless sandals are somewhat of a bargain, selling for $10 a pair, and less if you order in bulk. As for size, well, as the website notes, one size fits most, and they're perforated to fit, and you can also trim them down. One wearer extolled the sandals on the Sticky Sandals website, saying, "I love the reaction of people seeing me wear them and stopping me to ask, how did you get those on?" You can even accessorize these ultra-casual sandals with toe rings and anklets, and if you'd like a bit more support, you can even order arch supports for $12. So why would a flip-flop fan want to wear these? One fan wrote on the website that she purchased a pair since she was getting a tattoo on her foot and her ankle. The website also advises potential wearers that the adhesive sticks best when the feet are clean and dry, and that those who live in a high moisture environment may want to put an antiperspirant on their feet beforehand. As for removing them, try peeling, and if that doesn't work, run water on your feet. And if that doesn't work, maybe reconsider re-wearing them. After all, as the website says, these sandals should not be worn by anyone with sensitive feet.
Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.